Hi guys, it's Ivy Simone. Welcome back. Y'all, I just woke back up because I think I fell asleep maybe to make it later than I think it was. Say it was like 8:30. I just woke up. It's like 10:05. I was reading the word for the read a chapter of Genesis or a psalm right before I go to sleep. So I read the chapter of Genesis, and then every time I try to pray, just like tell God about my day, I knock out. So I knocked out. And I just woke back up. I wanted to make a video / I just wanted to brush out my hair, comb out my hair, and put it in two Wendy braids. See if it works because it's short now. Yeah. So I'm just it's not to be cute, it's just have it combed out or brushed out because I have not been doing this and my hair has been falling out. Not overly, but it looks like a lot, and I think it just looks like a lot because I don't brush it out every day, so it's like a whole week's worth of hair falling out of my head, so yeah. This probably actually gonna be very quick because look at this. Yeah, I didn't realize my hair was that short. I was about to cut it shorter. I wanted a little mini farm, that long. My nose is stuffy. Very unfortunate. But how are you guys doing? Today was an easy day at work. Barely anybody there. We made slime. Tried to make slime because my coworker realized we had glue and we had shaving cream, and then she was like, oh, you can make slime with this. And we looked it up, and you needed either borax or contact solution. And she was like, oh, we have borax in the other room, so we get it, but it's the powder one. So we're does it need to be mixed with water? So then I mixed it with a little bit of water, and she added more water to it, and it wasn't doing it. We kind of got it to where it's almost slime, the consistency, but it's not all the way clumped together, so the shaving cream still comes off on your hands. But it was very fun to play with. I'm not gonna lie, it was very fun to try to make it and the sensory part of it. I realized that I'm very much a I like the sensory stuff. I like the sensory stuff. Yeah. Like I'll sit there and play with the kinetic sand. But every single time, you know how kids are. Every single time I want to sit down and play with the kinetic sand, they want to come up and be like, "Can I play with that?" It's been there the whole time. It's been there the whole time, but because Miss Addie's playing with it, you want to play with it? Fine. Play with it. This piercing, I thought it was finally healed. And I don't know if it could be two things. I don't know if it's the soap that I started using on my face, because the soap that I used on my, when I first got the new soap for my face, which is just a bar soap, it's technically body soap, I'm pretty sure. I got it at Ross, but it's working for my face. Anyways, when I first got it, I was washing like my ears with it. And it kind of is like a strong soap because it burns. Like I got it in my eye and I wasn't even trying to. It was either that or I started putting sunscreen on my ears. And it could have been that too. Either way, it started getting like very irritated / infected. And I was like, girl, this piercing is about to come out. It's about to come out because what do you mean I got it June of last year? And you talking about you getting irritated / infected. I know that ear piercings usually take like a year to heal. But when I got it, I didn't expect it to take a year to heal, even though that's what they told me. Because the rest of my piercings healed hella fast, so I was expecting that for my ear piercing, and the fact that it's a year later and you're literally still acting up bothers me. But anyway, make sure I get my baby hairs, my edges. If only I really knew how to like do those braids. I don't know how to do a braid on my head. Or I feel like I might, but I'm not trying to like. I can't do it like easily. So I don't feel like doing all that. I don't feel like trying. I just feel like putting this in a braid and going to sleep. Something itching my eye. It's gonna be the babyest little braid. Oh, whatever. Okay, and that's it. Let me grab it up. That's wild. Okay, next side. I'm just putting literally like little dots. I don't know if you can see. putting little dots on my finger at a time. I'm gonna show you how much hair comes out of my head since I got it cut, which was Friday. Today is Monday. So in 3 days, and y'all tell me if you think it's a lot of hair to lose in 3 days. Because you should, like, we shed hair every day. But it's just like, is that too much hair for 3 days? We'll see. I know I didn't do this on the other side, but it is what it is. This is very random, but this is actually what I'm thinking about right now. That there was a guy that I really wanted to be with, but he was not like dedicated to living in like a godly way, and so like against what I actually really wanted, I didn't choose to be with him. And like I was trying to explain it to him, and he was getting it, but he wasn't getting it, But I just hope that I didn't mess up his view of like God, or I don't know. And it still very much sucks sometimes. I still very much think about him. But like I'll be having to not. I'll be having to, honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to not. Nobody asked me, but that's where I'm at. Because I was just thinking, like, it'd be the simplest things that make me, like, remember or think back. Because I was saying that I got this piercing June of last year, and I was like, wow, June of last year, we were still friends. Not that I can, like, stop being somebody's friend, but, we were still in contact. Because in my heart, we are friends. Or I still care about him as a friend. Usually. But I felt boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I don't know if anybody can relate, but sometimes it's like you have to obey what, God is telling you to do, especially when it comes to relationships, because I don't know, I just don't want to mess up in the relationship department. I feel hair on my back. Anyways, I don't want to mess up the relationship department. I don't want to mess up any department, but I really don't want to mess up the relationship department, especially because me and this guy used to be on stuff that I'm not trying to be on no more, and it's hard to not when I'm around him, So I don't know. I just had to. And of course, it wasn't like a spur of the moment decision. Like, I prayed on it and it was given no. It was given no, unfortunately. So, I have to continuously obey what I believe God said about the situation, because again, I prayed on it, and keep it moving even though I don't want to, but a lot of the times my pastor says when you're walking with God, when you're living life with God, making him Lord in your life, it's gonna cost you something. So he was like, if it doesn't cost you nothing, I would question your relationship with Jesus. And every time he says that, I'm like, it literally costed me the guy that I wanted, / maybe still want and trying to get over. And it's sucky. It is sucky, bro. But then it also says this in my Bible too, that you show you love God by obeying him. And so, love in general, in relationships, whatever, it's not just a feeling. You love somebody by what you do for them. You see what I'm saying? So if you love God, you're gonna do stuff that you don't want to do, in general. In a human relationship, you might not want to take out that trash, but because you love them, you're gonna take out the trash. You might not want to, do certain things, but because you love that person, you're gonna do it for them. And so I don't want to leave him alone. I've been not wanting to leave him alone. Y'all will be surprised for how long now, but because I love God, and it makes me it gives me comfort, because sometimes I even question if I do love God, but because I love him, not a feeling, well, sometimes a feeling, but because I'm actually trying my best to be 10 toes down about him, about God. To be okay, you said no, and it sucks. And you can be for real with God. It's very sucky that you don't want this, because I do. But It's giving a no for me, so I have to choose you over that, you know? So, yeah. And then it makes me I guess question how long it's gonna take for me to actually get a man, get married, this and this and that, because I personally would rather be fully moved on and fully healed from said guy before I get a man, because I don't want to have somebody, I don't want to have somebody go through, yeah, my girl is still getting over the last guy. That's crazy. But it's honestly taking a fat minute. So, whatever. That's how I get sometimes. I'm just whatever, bro. Whatever. But, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was just thinking about it, and before I started the video, I was praying. I prayed that, whatever, for Jesus to be Lord over the video. That's what he wanted me to say. Unfortunately, I will say it because I don't like people knowing that I'm soft. Yuck. I'm trying to get all the hair so I can show y'all and I can decide if this is a lot of hair. Was this all from today? Okay. And I'm not saying that I'm better than him. I really don't think I'm better than him. I really don't think that I'm better than him in any way. I just have a heart to. My heart is for trying to, I guess, please God, honor him, in the best way that I can, and I really don't think I do a good job. But it would be a lot better. I can't let myself be with somebody who isn't trying to do that at all, because then they wouldn't support what I'm trying to do. They wouldn't get what I'm trying to do. Hence, I was trying to explain to him, and he was like, yeah, I get it, but is it really that deep? Type stuff. That doesn't look like that much to me. I don't look like that much for 3 days. For 3 days? Maybe. That's disgusting. Let me put that over there. Yeah. And friends in general, I still have a hard time. I'm not crying. My nose is literally running. But I still have a hard time of what's that called? I don't really, I have friends that I care about, but they're all from before me getting closer to God. So some of them have started baby steps like me, but some haven't, and it's I don't know. It's important to have people around you when you're trying to honor God. And it's important to have people around you that are trying to do the same, because literally it's the exact opposite of what the world wants you to do, or the world encourages you to do, you know. So, and I know I'm one to fold. Shoot, if I'm around them, they're doing little shots, I'm there. Respectfully, I'm there. I try not to get drunk, but just being around it, it's just like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing here? You know. I stopped smoking a while ago, before I even started believing in Jesus. I stopped smoking because that stuff made me paranoid. That wasn't working out for me. Nobody will. When I first started smoking, yeah, it was like fun. But then after a while, I still like it was giving paranoid. It was giving dissociation, not dissociation. It was giving derealization or depersonalization. If you don't know what that is, it's like when you're like overly aware of the fact that it sounds like such a high thing to say, but you're like overly aware that you're like existing in a body, but it's just scary. You feel me? Like it's not funny when you're actually going through it. Like, that stuff's scary. Like, very much anxiety inducing. Very much anxiety inducing. And so, yeah, that stuff used to make me anxious. I was just anxious in general too. And then I went to church one day. My friend invited me, and I was like skeptical about believing in Jesus, you know. I grew up Catholic, and I purposely one day was like, let me just not believe anymore, and let me like do like the spiritual thing, spirituality thing. And so when I went to church, I was skeptical. I was like, but I was like, alright, Jesus, if you're real, I'm gonna give you a try. And that was all I said. If you're for real, I'm gonna give you a try. So that's when I started giving him a try. I started off very, very, very good. I think I started off very good in my eyes of like, people try to overcomplicate their walk with God, or like how it's supposed to go. Me in the beginning, I wasn't so worried about what I was doing, or like how I was living. I was more worried about, not even worried, I was more focused on just talking, like just inviting God, the Lord Jesus, into like every situation. Like I would talk to him like he was my best friend. Like whether people in general, like I feel like people think praying is like a list of what you want to happen, or a list of, you know, like, well, pray for this person, pray for that person, pray for yourself in these areas, pray for yourself in whatever. But I literally would like talk to him, and like when the issue came up, I'm like, well, can you help me with that? You know, but I would literally talk to him about anything and everything, and he was my best friend, you know. And I talked to him a lot about the guy. Girl, it's been a while. I'm trying to tell you, it's been a while. So I talked to him about the guy, and like, I want to say that I did like 95% move on from the guy, right? I was also very anxious every day, whatever. Like I would wake up and my heart was already racing, my thoughts were already racing off the wake up. That I would have to get up and like walk around my neighborhood, the neighborhoods around me, to like, you know, walk it off. You know how people like exercise when they have anxiety because it helps. That's what I used to do. I used to get up and walk around because I was just always like jittery. I always felt like I was on the verge of a panic attack, like, so yeah. But slowly but surely, I said one day, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm stronger than you, right? I said that one day. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm stronger than you. Like, I was determined about it. I was like, I'm stronger than you. And then I went maybe a week later, and I was like, this anxiety I'm feeling, the God that's within me is stronger than you. And I feel like when I started saying that and believing it, that's when it went away. Like, that's when it went away. Because greater is He who's living in me than the one who's in the world. You feel me? Everything that you might be going through, God is bigger than it. Like, the God, the creator of the universe, is bigger than that. He's stronger than that. You feel me? And so, yeah, when I started saying that, that's when I really felt it going away. And when I started saying that and believing it, that's when I started feeling it going away. And yeah, when it came to the God, like, I would just sit at the park every day. This is gonna make me tear up. I would sit at the park every single day and sit on the bench and just cry. I would just cry and say the same exact things every single day. I would just vent to God every single day about the same exact thing. And just it got easier, you know? And then, yeah, as I said, I feel like throughout the months, I like 95% got over him. And then he came back. The cat came back the very next day. Do y'all know that story? They read it to us. They read it to me. I remember that story from elementary school. But none of my coworkers knew that book. It's like a song. But anyways, he spun the blog. He spun it. It was actually 2 at that time. But anyways, he spun the blog, and not on no like having sex stuff. No. But like, as in, he like came back around trying to follow me on Instagram or whatever, and I folded. And in my head, I was like, well, if I just keep him like over there at arm's length, like, it's fine. Like, I don't need, like, I already know that I don't need him in my life for my life to move forward, so it'll be fine. No, feelings got caught feelings again, and then had to leave him alone again. So it's like I'm going through the same thing again, but it's easier this time. It's not easy, but it's easier this time, and that's where I'm at. I don't really talk to God about it as much as I did the first time, because it's just like tiring and frustrating at this point. It's the same guy. If it was a different guy, bro, then it would make sense. Like, not even it would make sense, but it would be like, it wouldn't make me feel so like discouraged. It's the same exact one. It's foul. It's the same exact one, and it's like, bro, can we get over this already? You know what I'm saying? Can we get over it already? But, and now, he came back on some, like, actually wanting to be with me. Like, literally everything that I wanted was, like, in my face, and I still had to say no because I prayed about it. And I feel like God was saying no, you know, and I don't know. That makes it 2 thumbs down, because it's like, if it were up to me, that would be my man, and nobody else's. But yeah, makes me kind of frustrated at God a lot of, well, is it a lot of times, or sometimes just when like I start thinking about it a lot, or like I get a wave of like I miss him and stuff like that. That's why they tell you not to have sex before you're married, because you get caught up bad. Well, it depends on who it is, for real. Well, I don't know, because some people will say having sex before you get married will have you caught up, but he's not the only person. You feel me? He's not my only body, and I don't care about the rest of them. Well, except for the guy that I was telling you about, the one that was the only boyfriend I've ever had. That's a different one. But that's because but I didn't actually want to be with him. You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be with him for real. I just care about him like as a friend and as a person, because he's a good friend, or he was a good friend. But like I'm saying, like my heart isn't caught up on all the rest of them, like how it is on him. Do you see what I'm saying? In general, don't have sex before you're married, because you 95% gonna get caught up. You 95% gonna get caught up. And I know that's like so opposite of what like everybody says nowadays. Like, it's like Global is talking about, Thick and Sexy Red talking about, and Kim, all the rappers, like everybody's like, yeah, link up, go ahead, sneaky link, anything, sneaky link. You want sneaky link, baby? You want sneaky link? That's an old song. But I'm really trying to tell you don't do that. I'm really trying to tell you don't do that, even if that makes you look lame. Be lame, because they're the ones that are getting caught up and they're acting like they're not. They're the ones getting like their feelings hurt and they're acting like they're not, or they're just hopping to the next person to not feel like they got caught up. You see what I'm saying? Or to not feel like they got their feelings hurt, to not process that they got their feelings hurt. You hop to the next person, and it's just not what God wants for us. Do you see what I'm saying? I can only advise, and this is my advice. You can take it or you can leave it. But I guess you got it, because look at me. Mira. But I'm just a girl that's trying her best to like honor God with my life. I don't feel like I'm doing a good job at all. But I'm trying. I really hope you don't see this, because there's only one person that could ever match the description of what I'm talking about. That's so crazy. So, I hope you don't see it. But I just felt like I should talk about it. Because, like, I don't know if I feel like I should talk about it. I say that I go to church, I say that, you know, I'm Christian, I started believing in Jesus, but I don't really talk about, like, the life switch you have to make. Not have to, because you never have to do nothing. But if your heart is in the place of wanting to honor God, yeah, Yeah, and I think flip your world upside down. And the other thing too is when I first, like my early days of my relationship with Jesus, I was like, if I don't want to do it from my heart, like if I don't want to change this part of my life from my heart, then I'm not gonna do it. I don't know how I feel about that now. Like I feel like it's a good principle to have, but then at the same time, like the obeying him thing, you see what I'm saying? Cause out of my heart, I don't want to leave that boy alone. From my heart, you think I want to leave that boy alone? No, man. But like in the sense of like I know it'll hurt God's feelings bad if I do this, so I'm not gonna do it, kind of thing. That's what I mean by it, because I guess that's what's keeping me. Like I know either I know for a fact I would hurt God's feelings because that's not what he wants from me. But second of all, I'm like, what do you think is gonna happen, Abby? If God told you, don't go with that man, and you're like, but I want to, and go ahead. First of all, I feel like I've hurt his feelings so much with not dubbing him, because it's not that I don't want to be with him, but like technically dubbing him because I denied the offer. It's not funny at all. I'm an awkward laugher. But out of my own, like, oh, I want to do it, out of my own selfishness, if I go and get with him, what do I really think is going to happen? Because God is saying no for a reason. So what do I really think is going to happen if I'm like, yeah, let me, out of my own free will, go and you know, get with him? What do I really think is going to happen? Because I don't think it will really be a happily ever after if God is saying no for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And so that's also what keeps me from doing it too. And then if it's not a happily ever after, if it's not a happily ever after, then that means it's gonna end up in a breakup, hence hurting him again. So I'm just gonna leave it where it's at. Well, I'm trying my best to leave it where it's at. But yeah. And then I feel like I don't think I ever told him like, oh, God said no. Because I feel like if you don't get it, then you don't get it. He's gonna be like, what do you mean God said no? Like, and then he's gonna be, I don't know, like in general, if you don't get it, then you don't get it. And then do like, oh, you just making stuff up now. Like, you just making stuff up. Or then I don't like that if he said no. You know? Like, I don't want either one of those outcomes. And so, but you just have to understand. I don't know. All the signs were pointed to don't do it, even though from the tippy crown of my head to the pointy of my pointiest toes, I wanted to do it. What a sad time. But anyways, I think I've talked enough. I gotta go to sleep because I work tomorrow. I should put out the clothes I'm gonna wear tomorrow, but I'm probably not gonna do that. It's interesting. On Sunday, I wasn't really pressed that I worked. Like yesterday, I wasn't really pressed that I worked today. But right now, I don't feel like going to work tomorrow. But we're here, chugging along. But I love you. Bless y'all. Don't tell my business to nobody. I don't like that. it's already in a yucky time being soft and honest right now. Well, usually, but not soft. But yeah, love y'all. God bless y'all.